What's going on, everyone? I'm just a typical, average American, here today to react and enjoy some Canadian TikToks. It is time, once again, to take a look at some of the most popular, random internet videos all about Canada. And you never know what you're gonna see or learn from the TikToks, but I have to admit, I am excited to find out. That's kind of why I enjoy these. So let's take a look, starting with Meanwhile in Canada. What on earth is this a road in Canada?
All right, Canada, it's time to play our favorite winter game, pick a lane and go. You know the rules. Find an imaginary lane and stay in it as long as possible.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Is this actually what it kind of feels like sometimes in Canada? Oh my, you can't see the lane lines at all in this video. This is genuinely scary.
It's time to play our favorite winter game, pick a lane and go. You know the rules. Find an imaginary lane and stay in it as long as possible.
Find and imagine, just pick a lane, just create a lane. Oh my god, Canadians must be very, very good at driving in the winter. Like, to maintain this much, like, order, like, if this were the driving conditions in the United States, it would be chaos. Actually, most people would probably pull over to the side of the road. I guess Canadians have to be good at this out of necessity, or in the wintertime, society in Canada would just stop. No one could get anywhere. Oh my god, you really can't even see the lane lines. You just have to, like, use your best judgment. You have to have quite a bit of trust in the other people driving as well, which is another reason why that wouldn't work in America. All right, let's keep going. Canadian guys be like... What is this? What? Okay. With the music as well. Everyone is dressed, at least all the guys are actually dressed up in the classic Canadian red plaid. Is this actually popular in Canada? I've always wondered, is this a stereotype or is this actually popular in Canada? Canadian guys be like... Oh, but they actually found a restaurant where there were 3 different couples, and all 3 of the men were wearing the same red plaid shirt. I mean, if that doesn't tell you something, I don't know what does. This must be popular in Canada. I mean, the red plaid, like, for us Americans, we associate it with Canada. I'm not sure how that started, or if it's like, we have a stereotype of, like, the red plaid lumberjack living in an igloo in Canada. Maybe that's where it started, but apparently it's true. They are all going home to their igloos after the dinner in their plaid shirt. And all right, let's keep going. What is this? This has something to do with hockey.
The Americans had our flag on their floor in the dressing room, and now I want to know if they want us to sign it.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. This went way too hard. What? Hold on. What is this clip from? But is this true? When did this happen?
The Americans had our flag on their floor in the dressing room, and now I want to know if they want us to sign it.
Oh my god, and then, like, the the sick montage of all the Canadian stuff right after. Oh! She really dropped the hammer there. Moose? Terry Fox? Okay, this is epic. Oh my god. This is like a beat drop for, like, this incredible soundbite. What game is this from? It's when Canadians defeated an American team. Maybe this was the Olympics or something. Did the American team really have the Canadian flag on the floor? On the floor of the locker room? That's, like, not okay, actually. Like, even from a sporting point of view, like trying to give the other team a hard time. I don't like that. Like even for dramatic purposes, like putting their flag on the floor, and like stepping on it or in your locker room. I don't like that. So I'm actually kind of with Canada on this one, where she she kind of owns America in this clip.
The Americans had our flag on their floor in the dressing room, and now I want to know if they want us to sign it.
Okay. That goes hard. Okay. Wow. Next. Whoa. What is this? What is it? What is he holding right now? What is this?
All right, guys, I'm out here with a Canadian lynx right now. One of my favorite things about these animals are the big tufts that you see on their ears. So those
Canadian lynx? When did this happen? I've never heard of this before. This, I mean, does anyone else think that this animal almost looks like a puppet or something, like on Sesame Street? Its cheeks are so big. It's like a poofy cat that's been inflated, like a balloon. Is it okay to just hold this? A lynx. What is a lynx even? It's like, it's not a tiger or a lion, or it's a feline.
Canadian lynx right now. One of my favorite things about these animals are the big tufts that you see on their ears.
Huh.
So those actually are able to locate an animal that they're trying to hunt from hundreds and hundreds of feet away.
Wow.
They're able to use those to precisely determine the location, and it makes hunting so much easier for them. These animals are so cool, guys.
Very cute. Maybe this is a domesticated Canadian lynx. Never heard of these before. I didn't know Canada had a native lynx. Are they also found in nature, or is this one like one that you can hold? It seems very poofy and cuddly, actually. I can't tell if I'm scared of it or oddly like entranced by it, like I want to pet it or something. Next, Americans making fun of Canada's bagged milk. Yeah, well, most Americans don't even know that Canada uses bagged milk. Most Americans don't even know that. So I think some of us would make fun of it, but we don't even really know about it that much.
Americans making fun of Canada's bagged milk. Meanwhile, with their sour cream.
Wait, what?
What the hell is this?
This is like a reversal or something. This is like, well, for one thing, I've never even seen this kind of sour cream before. Like, this is not normal in America either, to have sour cream in a bag that you can squeeze. It seems very convenient, honestly, but I have to admit, I don't think this is normal in America either. So if we're making fun of bagged milk, I don't know if Canadians can make fun of our bagged sour cream. Maybe you can find this in some parts of America. I've never seen this before. I'm actually intrigued.
Meanwhile, with their sour cream.
Okay.
What the hell is this?
What? Maybe it makes sense for, I don't know. Why would you have sour cream in a, well, you can squeeze it, but you could just have it in a bottle. Is it for like recycling purposes, or it still looks like it's made out of plastic? I don't know. I'm as confused as you are about the bagged sour cream. Okay.
I've never taken in the fact that some of the words I say sound funny, so we're going to go through some right now.
Okay.
We say them right, by the way. About.
Okay, so we're going through some Canadian accent pronunciation of words. This is one of the most famous. The most famous ones for Americans are sorry instead of sorry, and he actually says about. He actually says it a lot like an American. If he's Canadian, I am not hearing the Canadian accent.
About. Tomorrow.
Yeah, it just sounded like about. I think a lot of Canadians say about. Famously, us Americans, we think all Canadians say about. I think it's more like about, and we say about. And so does he, actually. And he says tomorrow. That sounds the same, too.
Tomorrow. House.
Oh.
House.
Ooh, there's one. Okay, he is Canadian. There it is. Maybe he's trained the about out of him, but he still says house. House. I don't know if I'm doing it perfectly, but it's not, I don't know. Maybe Americans just talk a lot more like strict or like punchy. House. Maybe more annoying. The house. Show me your house. House. House is a little more toned down, a little more friendly, a little more nuanced. I actually like that. House. Am I doing it right?
Lever. Lever.
Lever. Canadians actually say lever. Like all the time? Not lever. Lever. I did not know that one.
Bagel. Bagel.
Bagel. Bagel. Sounds exactly the same to me.
Milk. Milk.
What is he saying? Sounds like he's saying milk. Milk. Like M-E-L-K. Milk. Do we actually say this differently? I would say milk. 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 I think there's a little difference there, honestly. Very, very small, though.
Workout. Workout.
There it is. There we go. Yeah, he's Canadian. Workout. He didn't say about, but he says workout. I can't even do it. We say work out, workout.
Apricot. Apricot.
Apricot. Sounds the same.
Beg. Beg.
Beg? Beg. Sounds like he's saying beg or beg. Beg? I think Canadians do use, what is it, like a long A or a different kind of A sound. Because Americans say bag. Bag. Tag. Bag. Sag. There you go. I'm going to stop that now. Let's keep going. What is this? Americans in Canada? Okay, this will be funny.
So, like, who's your president now that the Queen's dead? I actually know someone from Canada. Do you know Greg?
It's the second largest country in the world. There's a lot of Gregs here.
So these are things that Americans say without realizing it sounds really stupid and ignorant. Oh my God, talking about the death of the Queen, that's kind of, I don't know about that. It's been some time now, but oh my, I wonder if an American out there has actually said this. Who's your Who's your president? I just realized it's double wrong. Who's the president of Canada now that the Queen passed away? Oh no.
I actually know someone from Canada. Do you know Greg?
It's the second largest country in the world. There's a lot of Gregs here.
I don't know why Americans do this as well. We think that all Canadians know each other, or that Canada is like a really small place. Like, oh, you're from Canada? Oh, do you know John? John, you know, the Canadian. Like what? I don't know what we're expecting.
But he's also from Vancouver.
We're in Toronto.
Aren't they both in the same state?
This is good. This is good. It makes me cringe a little bit too. Aren't those both in the same state? Right.
I'm a few cents short. You have any pennies?
What's a penny?
Oh yeah. Didn't Canada like get rid of pennies or something? Man, talk about something most Americans don't know. I forget when I heard about that. Pretty recently. Canada doesn't have pennies. Wow, how do you do change? I think you have to round it or something. That's right. Oh my God, that is strange. But maybe good. Pennies get lost and like people end up like not using them and maybe they waste copper and anyway, I don't know. I don't know if we're ever going to get rid of our pennies. We have a sentimental attachment to our pennies or something. What is this? What is this? I just realized what I'm looking at. Is this like a buffalo?
Check this out.
Look at how she walks.
Huh? What? Is this just normal? In Canada? Anyone explain this to me? What's going on here? What? Can you actually just find like a full-on buffalo on the side of the road? Or the description under the video says this is in the Yukon. This is like Yukon, Canada. Like northern Canada stuff. where it gets a little crazy. Okay. Okay, you don't find these like just anywhere in Canada, like, right? In the cities and stuff, right? That's wow, what a beautiful creature, kind of scary. What do we have here? What's the capital of Canada? Oh boy, this is like a trivia test for Americans. What's the capital of Canada? I did not know the answer to this for a long time. Most of my life. I had to like go out of my way to learn it. I know it's Ottawa. I watched a video where a lot of Canadians didn't even know what the capital of Canada was. Apparently it's not that important in Canada. Like in America, Washington, D.C. It's very famous. Washington, there where everything's happening. Ottawa, I don't know what Canadians think about Ottawa, but Americans are not going to do well with this question.
For $5, what's the capital of Canada?
Alberta.
For $10, what's the capital of Canada?
Is it Toronto?
For $15.
That actually might sound silly to Canadians, but I think most Americans would say Toronto. For some reason, that's the city that most Americans have heard of. It might be the only city, the only Canadian city that we even have heard about, or maybe Vancouver. So I expect to hear some of that here.
What's the capital of Canada?
Ontario.
For $20, what's the capital of Canada?
I used to get Ottawa and Ontario confused myself, actually.
Geez, I'm gonna go with Quebec.
For $25, what's the capital of
Was she dressed up like a blueberry? Or okay, let's keep going.
Canada? Toronto. For $30, what's the capital of Canada?
Toronto.
A lot of Torontos. I'm gonna skip ahead to the. This goes on for like a whole minute. I'm gonna skip ahead a little bit.
For $65, what's the capital of Canada? For $65, what's the capital of Canada?
There is no capital of Canada.
Oh no! No! Oh, she thought she was onto something there. Ah, trick question. There is no Canada. It's made up. It's like
$70, what's the capital of Canada?
Ottawa.
hey, wow, $70 like by the end of this test. That's pretty darn good. Congrats, man. Good for you. Someone got it. This might be Canada's best kept secret. Ooh, what's the secret? What's the secret of Canada? Oh, where is this? Vancouver Island. Oh wow. Oh wow, that was very quick. Okay. Wow. Oh my god, Vancouver Island looks like another planet or something. This is in Canada? Oh my god. Wow. I'm just trying to pause some of these. Little cottage. What? Whoa. Little hot tub. Wow. This is really cool. This is all on Vancouver Island? There's like mountains and stuff? Beaches make sense, but it's absolutely beautiful. People must like to vacation here. Wow. Wow. Vancouver Island. Very cool. Very cool. I could see that being very, very popular. What is this about?
Here's how to piss off Canadians from a Canadian. Number 1, tell them everything you know about Canada is from Letterkenny. Number 2.
Oh, how to piss off Canadians. Perfect. Okay. Act like everything is from Letterkenny? That's a TV show about, like, set in Canada, right? Like a comedy show?
Number 1, tell them everything you know about Canada is from Letterkenny. Number 2, tell them you didn't really like Letterkenny.
Oh.
Number 3, find someone who's not from Alberta and ask them if they're from Alberta. And
What? Do Canadians, what? You don't, you don't want to be told you're from Alberta? If you're not from Alberta? Why? Why not?
when they say no, why, just say you give off Alberta vibes.
You give off Alberta vibes. What an insult.
Number 4, find someone who lives in Vancouver, the more downtown the better, and tell them that you visited Vancouver once and then describe Burnaby. Number 5.
Burnaby? I don't get it. I think that's a really Vancouver Canadian inside joke. I'm not sure what Burnaby is. Okay, that's okay.
Get 2 people in a room together, one West Coaster, one Flatlander, and then ask them which is worse, wet cold or dry cold. Number 6.
What? There's different types of cold? Man, only Canadians would relate to this stuff. I've never heard of the different types of cold. Wet cold and dry cold?
Flatlander, and then ask them which is worse, wet cold or dry cold.
Wet cold or dry cold? I think wet cold would be worse, right? That sounds horrible. Okay.
6, tell them that the majority of the Canadian population lives in Toronto. Number 7,
The majority of Canada's population. A lot of people live in Toronto. It's the biggest city in Canada, but not the majority of the whole population lives there, right?
pronounce it Toronto. Number 8, tell
Toronto. Am I pronouncing it wrong? Toronto. What? Tell them you wear a Canadian pin on your backpack.
them you wear a Canadian pin on your backpack when you're traveling in Europe because people treat you better.
Ah, I've heard of that one before. Especially for Americans. Like if we go traveling somewhere in the world and we want to be treated better, because Americans have like a stigma against us, apparently, maybe, probably deserved, we can masquerade as a Canadian. If we put a little Canadian flag pin on our stuff, and then everyone loves Canadians, and we get the royal treatment, right? That sounds tempting. Maybe Canadians don't like that.
Number 9, when traveling anywhere outside of Quebec, wait until someone orders a poutine and then say, actually, it's pronounced poutine.
Is this like in Quebec? Poutine. That's like how people from Quebec would say it, poutine. And everyone else is saying poutine. So you go outside of French Canada and you're like, it's poutine. It's poutine. And everyone's like, get out of here. Poutine.
Alternatively, if you're feeling a little spicy, tell a Quebecer it's actually pronounced poutine. And the number 10 way to piss off a Canadian, mispronounce this word.
Toke? Toque? Toque. It's like the hat. The hat. The toque. I know this one. Wow, all the ways to piss off Canadians. That's very useful to know. I'll have to remember all that. Should I ever find myself needing to piss off Canadians? You never know. Okay, what do we have here? Corrective action. The U.S. military versus Canadian military. So U.S. military compared to Canadian military? Oh. Yeah. Yes. Is this not what it's like in the Canadian military? Like, drill instructors will get in your face, scream at you. It's totally just a part of being in the American military. It's like a rite of passage. I think it's meant to make the young people in training to join the military, it's meant to make them stressed and uncomfortable, to learn to deal with that kind of situation, I think. But yeah, they're screaming at you. What do they do in Canada then, right? Oh my God.
D'arriver hier.
Mon téléphone a sonné, je l'ai fermé, sergent.
C'est tout.
C'est tout, sergent.
J'attends d'être là-dessus.
Oui, sergent.
C'est pour ça que nous a apporté le bombardier-chef Bélanger.
Ben, j'avais mon téléphone de main, j'ai pris mon téléphone, j'ai fermé, je l'ai rangé.
Huh.
Il est passé en même temps, je vous jure, sergent.
This is very civil, very civilized conversation. That's what I'm noticing. I'm also can't help but notice it's French, which makes sense in Canada. But how does that work? In the Canadian military, are there, if you have French speakers and English speakers, are there divisions of the military where you're just speaking French or just English, or how does that even work if it's all one Canadian military? Anyway, I never thought about that. This is a much more civil conversation, much more normal, much nicer. They're actually listening to this cadet. Huh?
Okay.
Okay. And that's it. He explains himself, and they're like, okay. Wow, how civilized. Very different atmosphere. I'm sure in the Canadian military, there's got to be some yelling and screaming. I think that's just a military thing. Maybe not. Maybe it's just an American thing. I don't know. But anyway, that's it for today with the Canadian TikToks. I very much enjoyed these. These were all over the place. And I think that's why I do get a lot out of this. A lot of different random stuff about Canada and Canadian culture. And some were funny. Some taught me some things. And I quite enjoyed this, the TikToks. Anyway, if you enjoyed this as well, feel free to give this video a like or leave a comment with your thoughts on any of these Canadian TikToks or anything I didn't understand. That'd be very helpful. And if you're interested in more videos like this, me reacting to Canada and Canadian culture and learning things about Canada, feel free to subscribe for more. And until then, thanks for watching and see you next time.